Many years ago, there lived a young lady called Didi. She was doing so well for herself and had what everyone called magic hands. Give Ndidi Ankara, jeans or even old cement bags, she would turn them into handbags that many boutiques bought and lied to their customers that it was imported from China. She had a very small shop, but people loved her craft and patronized her even with her little or no packaging. One evening as she was arranging her bags to go home, a young man walked past her shop and said, "My dear, these handmade bags are not from this planet. They are giving what they should give." And they gave him audience because his shirt was so white and his perfume smelled like something expensive. And his English, my people, if you heard it, you would think he swallowed the Oxford Dictionary for breakfast. So all Ndidi saw in him was an Odogo customer. He took one of her bags and said, "Wow, this one is spectacular. The artistry is remarkable and the symmetry is outstanding. I must say that your creativity is second to none." Ndidi, who was only 12 when her parents died and stopped her education immediately, looked at him with suspicion and asked, "My brother, is that a compliment or an insult?" The young man laughed, showing his white teeth like fresh coconuts. "No, my dear, it means that your work is very beautiful. My name is Emmanuel. I am a civil engineer and by God's grace, MSc degree holder." They had a good chat. From that day, Emmanuel started visiting her shop almost every evening, claiming he had a building contract in that asset. And he didn't visit empty. He bought her gifts, no matter how small. And they saw him as an intentional man. And 3 months later, Oga made his intentions known. At first, Ndidi laughed. She told him that educationally she wasn't fit for him. Emmanuel told her that it wasn't and will never be a problem. Little by little, Emmanuel's seriousness began to shake Ndidi's heart. She thought within herself, this man is not like the others, so he's educated, he's handsome and he respects my work. Maybe we can truly do life together. And so he gave him a chance, hoping that their future would be as fine as the bags she made. 2 months into that relationship, he started coming to her shop daily, claiming he had no job at that particular moment. Their love moved like a trailer with no brakes. He would sit beside her, press her shoulder gently and whisper things like, "Baby, I see us building empires together. All I need is for you to trust the process and be patient with me. I know that very soon my job will be stable and I will take you to the moon." Ndidi believed him because he was the first man who truly saw her value and didn't mock her for not going to school. So when Emmanuel said, "Ndidi, let's get married. I may not be financially balanced now, but together we will make magic," she didn't think twice. She agreed. She paid for almost everything, even the ones he said he would pay for, and Ndidi still supported. Now, the only thing Ndidi didn't touch was her bride price. Emmanuel swore with his master's degree that no matter what happens, he will pay her bride price with his own sweat. So when that day came, he wore his neatly ironed agbada and paid her bride price, which was only 250 naira. Emmanuel had a PhD in sweet mouth. He will hold her face and say, "Babe, I see all you are doing. Once God remembers me, I will personally hire more staff for you. You will never suffer again." Sometimes he would test her in the middle of the night. "You are not just my wife. You are my destiny helper, and I promise you, once things align, you will enjoy heaven on earth." And Ndidi would smile at her phone like Mumu in love. She believed they were about to start the greatest replicates of Romeo and Juliet. On their wedding day, rice was flying. People were dancing, asking for extra. Ndidi wore a borrowed smile because she exceeded her budget. Emmanuel, her Wayo husband, was looking so sharp and had confidence that was louder than the DJ speaker. By the time the crowd cleared and the hall was empty, the only thing left was a few crates of malt and 3 slices of meat the caterer hid under the table. And thank God that their guests paid money. I mean, good amounts of money. Immediately they got to Didi's apartment. Yes, so you heard that right. In Didi's apartment, because Emmanuel's rent was due. Without shame, he told his wife that they will move into her apartment after the wedding until he stabilizes. And Didi locked the door, looked at Emmanuel and said, "Oh yeah, let's count the money." They sat down like 2 serious treasurers. They counted. In total, it was 226,000 naira. And Didi clapped. We thank God though. At least this will carry us for a long period of time because my business money has gone down. Pata pata. Emmanuel stood up, did a small spin and said, "Babe, this is huge. The journey to greatness had begun. For the first week, they were living so well. They will wake up, play love music, eat and take mirror selfies. By the second week, the 226,000 naira vanished because of Emmanuel's reckless spending. There was a day she returned home and met an empty pot because Emmanuel, enjoyment officer, had finished the food she had budgeted for their dinner. She turned to him and said, "Honey, what do we eat now?" Emmanuel scratched his head, looked up like a man expecting angelic instruction and said, "I was hoping you will get some foodstuffs on your way back home because I prayed that God will bring buying customers today." And Didi sat down and asked herself a very deep question. Is this the same man that promised heaven and earth? That night, they drank garri with no sugar and no salt. Emmanuel still told her, "Babe, don't worry. This suffering is only for now. Once my destiny aligns, you'll be wearing good dresses and you will know that this man truly loves you." And Didi nodded, but her eyes were full because at that moment she realized she had entered one chance. The house remained empty for days. And Didi saw Pepe, and the only thing Emmanuel did was to speak grammar. She would wake up by 5 a.m., sweep the house, and then rush to her shop. Her working table was now on life support. The leg was balancing on a stack of old textbooks, but she kept on pushing while her supposed husband became the madam of the house. He would wake up by 9 a.m., stretch like a pregnant cat, and when his wife returns, he will say things like, "Babe, I just need a little more time. Things are still processing." And Didi will nod and say, "Okay, but what are we going to eat?" "I don't know, babe. You are the one with the stable business. You should be the one deciding that." And Didi became the husband. No, let me rephrase. And Didi became the provider, the planner, and the man. She sold bags to buy rice, beans, and even indomie for the house. Sometimes she would sell her best bags at a loss just to make sure they had food. Emmanuel would collect 1,000 naira from her and say, "I will go and buy pepper and tomatoes," but he will return with only half of the ingredients and 1 bottle of malt. When she asks about the change, he will say, "Oh, I used it for recharge card. I will reimburse you later." If toothpaste finishes, cream, deodorants, shaving stick, even Emmanuel soap, they will remain unreplaced until she does so. And when she does, the shameless man will say, "Oh, babe, you are so caring. This is why I married you. You are nurturing and you are my helper. May my God bless you." And Didi will look at him and mutter, "Helper, not husbander." 4 months to the rent deadline, and Didi started saving quietly. When she reminded Emmanuel, he said, "Babe, relax. My cousin in Canada is sending something soon." 1 week to the rent deadline, he said, "Babe, that my cousin is going through emotional trauma. I don't know how to remind him of the money. And Didi sold one of the instruments to complete the payments. Emmanuel still sat down like a chairman, unashamed. And guess what? He still had mouth. He would sit down, cross his legs and say things like, "Babe, your food is not as sweet as before. What is happening?" This whole nonsense continued. One day, Didi asked him gently, "Emmanuel, what exactly are you doing to support us?" Guess what he said? "Didi, I am not an ordinary man. You are so lucky that I'm your husband. Relax your mind. Calm down. Everything will be fine." And Didi stayed because in her heart she kept on believing that things would change and that one day Emmanuel will wake up and say, "Babe, I got a job." But the more she stayed, the more she became his national treasury. If only she knew that she was being cheated, because once her money finishes, her husband will start withdrawing from his accounts. Oh yes, his account. His cousin had been sending 70,000 naira every month and Didi didn't know. But what did he use the money for? Not for rent, not for food, and not even supporting his wife's business. Emmanuel was using the money for buying himself small chops when Didi wasn't around, doing sports betting just to try his luck, buying data to surf the internet and sending money to random girls. While Didi, the good wife, would be sewing till her back ached, skipping lunch just to meet a customer's deadline and saying, "God, thank you for this man. He may not have money now, but at least we are transparent with each other." Her business started to grow beyond her expectation. New clients rushed her and one of them gave her a bulk order. Another customer in Lagos started reselling her bags. Before long, she bought an industrial machine. Then she hired one assistant called Onome. She was still using 80% of her income for house upkeep. She didn't even buy herself new clothes. Her wig was now bent like Kamma, but she believed, if we suffer together now, we will shine together later. As Emmanuel saw that things were not better for his wife, he became more relaxed. And he started praying, "God, please bless my husband. Let him become the head indeed. He's a civil engineer with an MSc, but his pocket doesn't equate it. Please, Lord, change his story." But guess what? Emmanuel was also praying. He was praying for God to increase her business so that he can become his wife's accountant general. One night after she came back late, Emmanuel pulled her closer and whispered, "Babe, I know you are tired, but you have proven that you love me. And because of that, when my doors finally open, I will make sure I send you to China to upgrade your skills. You will learn new bag styles, connect with international suppliers, and then you will go global, baby." And his eyes lit up like a generator. She almost fainted from joy. She held his hand and said, "Are you serious?" Emmanuel replied with a sweet tone, "You see, men don't forget women who stood by them in the wilderness, and you, Didi, you have stood by me." I don't know if Emmanuel hit something under his tongue, because from that moment, Didi started spending more on him, and the love in the other room tripled. And so she became pregnant. When she told Emmanuel the good news, he danced like someone whose account had been credited. But when Didi gently asked, "So how do we prepare for the baby?" Guess what he said? Babe, you know I'm going through a phase and my wet is in incubation. I am not proud of it though, but please help us." That was how Didi started preparing for motherhood like a single mother with a ghost partner. She paid for everything. I mean, every. Guess what? She was still sewing while pregnant, while an able man with 2 hands and his 2 legs intact kept on saying, "God bless you, baby, for doing this for us." On her EED, the baby didn't come easy. So after 60 hours of pain and shouting, the doctor said, "Madam, we have to do a CS. Do you know what happened? They asked for 380,000 naira. And Didi was already on drip, shivering and praying. The nurses turned to Emmanuel and said, "Sir, go and pay at the reception." He whispered to Didi, "Babe, you know say I no get am. Please give me your card." Didi, half conscious, did the transfer with her phone. She paid for her own surgery. She paid to bring their child into the world while her husband stood over her like a monitoring spirit. After the surgery, Didi lay there stitched and sore, unable to lift her hands. Emmanuel sat by her side and said with his full chest, "Babe, please don't tell your people anything. You know I'm your head. I am your crown. Don't dent my image. And you know that the Bible says wives should submit to their husbands. Don't disgrace me because this is just a phase. You are only helping me, and when life finally aligns, I will pay you back. I will make it up to you, I promise." And Didi didn't say a word. She just nodded because even now, she still believed and still hoped that one day, just one day, Emmanuel will rise and remember all she had done. Her auntie came for Omugo, the one who paid for her to learn her craft when she couldn't afford her school fees anymore. She took care of Ndidi and her baby, even more than the way some biological mothers take care of their daughters. But Emmanuel panicked because he knew that one small conversation from her auntie could reveal how they've been living. So that same night, he dragged Ndidi gently into the kitchen and said, "Babe, listen please. Don't let your auntie know that you are the one footing all the bills, so let's not embarrass me. I beg you. Remember, I am still the man." Emmanuel repeated that line like a ritual, and Didi agreed. Permit me to say, she wasn't just a wife, she was a stage manager, a makeup artist, and a lighting technician for a one-man play called The Head of the House. From that day, anytime her auntie needed money, maybe for soup ingredients, Didi would slip into the bedroom, pull her husband aside like an intern talking to her boss and whisper, "There is 5,000 naira in the envelope. Please take it and act like it's from you." And Augusta would stroll into the sitting room like a governor on environmental inspection, hand Mama the money and say, "Mommy, just manage this. I know it's small, but please help us to manage it." And the woman will scream, "Ewo, my in-law, thank you. God bless you. You are truly a one-woke, a real man." Emmanuel will nod gently and adjust his collar like someone who had just wired 2 million naira from his offshore account. The day the woman was about to go back to the village, she said to Emmanuel, "My son, thank you for taking care of my daughter. May God open more doors for you." She closed her eyes and was praying seriously for him. And they rushed into the bedroom with tears she refused to let fall. She opened her drawer, pulled out her wallet and counted 20,000 naira. She just folded the cash, walked to Emmanuel and whispered, "Give her this." Emmanuel collected it like it was a salary, and when Mama was done, he gave it to her and said, "Mommy, just something small for the transport." Mama shouted, "Jesu, Chineke me, 20,000 naira? Emmanuel, you are too much. Oh. My sister's daughter really married well. Kai." She broke into another section of prayer. "Jehovah, promote this man, enlarge him, let him never know sorrow. And as he has remembered me, please remember him double. And then Didi just stood in the corner holding her baby and watching her auntie bless a man who had never bought even one pampers. Her auntie walked out singing Emmanuel's praises. Finally, brethren, God remembered her by answering all her prayers. Emmanuel got a well-paying job and he was so good for 30 days. I mean, 30 days. And did he notice when he changed? He would return from work and walk straight to the bathroom with his phone, whispering and chuckling like someone who had just fallen in love. Then he changed his phone password and started sleeping on the edge of the bed. One night, Emmanuel was on phone in the kitchen and he thought Didi had gone to bed, but something pushed her out to the sitting room to create a design. She heard his voice, low, arrogant and heartless. No, now, I don't like her. I just use her to climb. That girl is a fool. She's an idiot. How can an MSc fall in love with a secondary school dropout? Well, now that my light has come, I need to detach myself from her and I will do it very fast. And Didi couldn't feel her feet. She leaned on the wall and her heart beat louder than the words she heard. The man she fed, the same man she clothed, defended and funded, he just said he used her to climb. She quietly returned to the room, sat down, and without her permission, her tears were flowing. When he entered the room, she asked, Emmanuel, who were you talking to? Which call? He asked rudely. Emmanuel, you said you used me. You called me a fool. At first, he tried to laugh it off, but when he saw how serious she was, he sat down and said the words that broke her completely. Didi, let me not lie to you anymore. I don't love you. I never really did. Let's say I saw your bright destiny and how you were focused, so I perched. You were my ladder. But now that I've climbed, I need to remove it. I have found someone else, someone that befits this my new status. Thank you for all your sacrifices. May my good God reward you. And Didi sat there for hours. She remembered how she used to kneel and pray for him, how she sold her bags, skipped meals just for them to eat. She remembered how he kept his secrets, endured humiliation and still called him my husband. The more she remembered, the more heartbroken she became. The next day, Emmanuel packed his belongings which fit into only one bag and left without looking back. For 1 whole week, she did the same thing. Every night, once her baby fell asleep and the room was quiet, she would quietly get up, kneel by her bed, cry and whisper the same line. Lord, I know you are not unjust. Judge Emmanuel and help me to move on. She went back to work and when Aproko people asked, Didi, it's been long we saw your husband though. How is he doing? Or did he travel? She would simply ignore them. The heartbreak even opened her creative mind to new designs, so she cashed out that period. Emmanuel moved in with the woman he claimed to love. Her name was Lillian. You know how children recite words and opposites, as in up, down, Permit me to say, Didi, Lillian, there were words and opposites. Lillian was a woman who couldn't buy common Maggi cube without asking for a refund. One day, she made it clear, even without saying it, that she wasn't in Didi. So everything in their house rested squarely on Emmanuel's pockets. When I mean everything, everything is everything. And worst of all, Lillian never said thank you. One day, after Emmanuel returned from work tired and sweating, he dropped a nylon of groceries and said with pride, Baby, I bought everything. I even added shawarma for you. Lillian, who was scrolling her phone on the couch with her legs crossed, barely looked up. She said, Okay, but you are not doing anything special. You are the man and that's your job. Emmanuel didn't believe his ears. It was like a slap on his cheek. But I worked so hard and I thought you would appreciate. She cut him short. Do you clap for a fish because he knows how to swim? Please, I beg, I have had men who did way more. That night, Emmanuel regretted his decision. And Didi used to feed him and still helped him clean his shoes, wash his clothes and iron them. But this weapon fashioned against him would stretch like a retired gymnast and say, I am not your maid, oh, I am your partner. If you want wife material, go and look for it at the sewing machine shop. Emmanuel spent and spent, but she gave him no respect, no encouragement, and no God bless you. Just comparisons to imaginary men she dated in Dubai and Lekki Phase 1. He whispered to himself, Joy, I have missed a good woman. And Didi on her part made up her mind to leave, not just the house and the city, but the country. She wasn't running, she was only redeeming time, her sanity and her son's future. From the day she made her decision, she changed her life like a military drill. She got a piggy bank and saved judiciously, and soon she began the visa process. One day, she woke up to that glorious email. Your visa application to the Republic of Austria had been approved. She sold all her instruments before she relocated because she knew she was never coming back. Just 3 months in Austria, doors opened like they've been waiting for her, and while she was rising, Emmanuel was entering a season of divine payback. You see, there are women who carry favor, and then there are others whose presence is like unplugging a refrigerator, and unfortunately for Emmanuel, he chose the latter. His job suddenly began to shake. He started getting disciplinary queries at work, and he started growing emergency grey hair. Lillian didn't care, and whenever he complained, she would say, That's your business. You were the one who came to me. I didn't beg you. And then, one evening, Emmanuel didn't drop money for dinner because he was broke. Lillian went to his wardrobe, brought out his designer wristwatch, walked straight to the junction and sold it for 18,000 naira. She came back with rice, chicken laps, 1 bottle of malt, and enjoyed herself with no iota of guilt. She didn't stop there. She sold his Bluetooth speaker, his mini fridge, and even threatened to sell his mattress. Emmanuel couldn't do anything because she had the strength of a man, so raising his hands against her was totally out of it. One day, he was strolling through the streets of Facebook just to get his mind off from the trouble at home. He stumbled on a shared post from someone. He saw Didi. I mean his own Didi and their son looking so healthy, dressed in a winter jacket. He zoomed in and didn't know when he asked, So Didi don japa? But how? He went straight to her WhatsApp and dropped a message that remained unread. When Lillian had successfully drained him, she packed her things and left. He got a new SIM, typed a long message to Didi. Please forgive me. I want my family back. I miss you and my son. Didi saw the message and replied, I sincerely wish you well, Emmanuel, but I'm no longer the woman you left behind. You no longer befit my new status. And that was how Emmanuel lived the rest of his life in pain and in regrets. Hey, my people, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. Let me ask you, did you learn anything from this story? If yes, kindly share your thoughts with me in the comments. Before I leave today, I would like to say this. If you are going through heartbreak, let this and this story remind you that you can start all over again and that you can still rise again. Cry if you must, but after crying, wipe your tears, dust yourself and keep moving. Don't pause your life because of that fellow. Come on, they don't deserve you and a better person is coming. if you pause, they will meet you where they have left you, and that's not a good testimony. Give the story a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not, and kindly share out the story to your loved ones. Until I bring another exciting story your way, it's a goodbye from here, and God bless you.